I'd read this book years ago about the 5 love languages, but instead of applying it to like maybe, personal relationships, you've applied it to clients. So can we talk about that a little bit, the 5 client love languages and how you address those?
Yeah, I believe it's Gary Chapman. Basically, I liked his book because he explains that different people, it has nothing to do with gender. It's just about different human beings. They have their own love language. Like some people, it's gifts, right? When they get a gift, it just makes them feel appreciated. It makes them feel deeply valued. For some people, it's service. My wife is definitely service. I could write her a love note and she may be a little bit touched, but if I take out the trash and the house is clean when she comes home, oh my God, boy, does she light up. And I have different things that light me up. So it's just
Yeah.
about being aware that we're all different. We all have different ways, different things that we appreciate that deeply, deeply make us feel good. Like for me, my love language is words of appreciation. So when people write out with little email and say like, "Hey, I really enjoyed connecting with you. It's brought something into my life." That one email makes my whole day, if not
Yeah.
my entire week. Like I really appreciate it and I really try to create good things in the world. But everyone has their own love language. I think it's a cool way to look at it. I think our clients are no different, right? There's some love languages when you speak to them in terms of what really makes them light up, then you're going to be more effective in your marketing, but also in your selling, like when you speak with them, for example, on Zoom. So it's about drilling down and seeing like what really makes them go, "Oh, yes, that's the thing." I'm thinking of one client, we were doing a Zoom call, and I said, "If you work with me, I have a collaborative approach." So that means it's not one and done. It means you go through the chunk that I've worked on and you get back to me, let me know how we're doing, and I adapt and we make sure that by the time it's done, everything's great. And I even throw in a review at the end, like a final review, um, to make sure that you're 100% satisfied. And the client was so delighted. And later they actually ended up confiding to me that their previous service provider was very, how can I put it? They had their pet peeves and was very single-minded and they just had the way they did things and they weren't
Yeah.
open
Very
to,
rigid.
yeah,
Yeah.
they were a little bit rigid in their ways
Yeah.
of working and they really didn't like that. It did not work for them because they had sometimes their demands changed like during the project, their deadlines and stuff. So when I
Yeah.
started leaning into that just a little bit more, like I noticed, okay, that really made them light up. Then I make sure to lean into that a little bit more. Say like, "Hey, I'm happy to meet with you. Want me to come by your office, see how we're doing?" They were so over the moon. And then, that generates multiple referrals. It helps build your business in an ethical
Yeah.
way. It's like turning on this radar, like what makes them light up? And let's do more of that.
Yeah. And that process sounds very similar to how I approach ghostwriting. After I do some interviews and I research the person, I'll
Interesting.
write like 1 to 2, we'll do the outline, they'll approve the outline. Then I might write a chapter or two, send it to them, say, "Hey, I'm on the right track. What do you like? What don't you like?" And then we talk about it. And then, we move forward that way. I'm always asking for their feedback as we write the book,
Brilliant.
just to kind of hone in and yeah, and tailor it. I mean, I think I see it as very, what do I want to say? I mean, it's like a sacred obligation when you're taking someone else's voice and their story, especially if it's a pain to purpose story like the one you just described for the business coach on LinkedIn. It is an honor to me to be able to do that. So I love that process where you're constantly asking the client for their feedback and just making sure that you're serving them in a way that meets their expectations. It's so important.
Totally. And I think the sad
Yeah.
thing is that many people do this, but they don't put it in their marketing. So their clients
Right.
don't know that they're going to get all of this wonderful, amazing, super valuable support. So when people come to me
Yeah.
to build a more trust-driven business, to get more referrals, to grow their business in an aligned way, this is something we really focus in on, making sure that what is implicit to you is explicit to the client right from the get-go, because that will immediately set you apart from many service providers who in fact do provide great service, but they do not articulate it anywhere. And clients need that reassurance. So it's a super
Yeah.
important sticking point.